So this is the hive right next to the one you just saw. And I'm showing you this to show you what I mean by how different they can be. So just looking at this one, it is very full of bees. You can see them on every single frame. And so this is what a really good hive looks like. It's just overflowing. Now they've got plenty of room. There's another box back here that they're starting to fill out for honey. And actually this hive is the one that's also a mess. And so I'm gonna film a little bit of me doing my stupid stuff. Because the deal is, these wooden frames are deep sized, but they're in a medium box, which means they don't fit. They're too big. So this is 2 medium boxes on top of each other, and these frames, these wooden ones, are hanging down about halfway into the next one. And the plastic frames are the correct size, and so underneath those, I've been inserting more medium frames for them to use so they have a proper hive. But what's happening is, slowly but surely, I'm trying to pull out these wooden frames by pushing them further out to the edge where they do less work and more food, and then replacing it with plastic ones, the medium sized, over time. This may be a horrible thing to do, but I'm kind of committed to it now anyway. But for sure the bees don't enjoy when I do this. So you get to see what it's like for me to fumble. So I just smoked them. I cannot keep my smoker lit today. It's being quite a pain. So I'm trying to push them down so I can get in there easier. Go in. This is what it's like with a smoker that's barely working. You're just like, no, I don't want to. All right. I'm very sure I'll have to glove up for this because it's so tight in here. Every time I try to do something, it just messes up stuff. I usually like to start on this side, but when I'm looking, this side is really, really tight, and there's a little bit of space here. At least it looks that way, but reality is I'm sure there's actually not. So let's see, where do I want to start? Gosh, we'll try our go-to and see if we're lucky. The other problem is all this stuff is full, like very full of food. Yeah, I can't move that at all. So we'll come over here instead. This should break. There it goes. And now over here, I need you guys to go away. And so when I was talking before about how gentle you gotta be, hives like this are why. Because everything could go wrong all the time because it's so full. Last time I was here, I covered everything in honey and nectar because everything was so overbuilt that I just couldn't avoid breaking things. And the bees were real mad at me for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I don't want to put on my gloves because I can't feel anything, and that's hard, and this is technically delicate work, but I really ought to. We're gonna give it a shot. Can't see because of my arms. I'm grabbing the frame, and now I'm pulling straight up. And so you can see how they're building down. They're building this wax down below. So what I'm gonna do is set this frame on the ground if I can, but the first thing is to see if the queen's on it. Now this one I can't also replace because they're still using it very much for brood, and that's no good. So we're gonna look for the queen. If she's not on here, I can set this one down. If she is on here, I can't. You can imagine if I'm wrong and I miss that she's sitting right there staring at me, and I set this on the ground, that could be the end of the queen. You saw them bristle right then? That's because I breathed on them. They're pretty sensitive to carbon monoxide in terms of, they consider that a threat if something's breathing on them heavy. Let's see, queen, queen, queen. I do not see her. We're gonna double check. All right, I think we're good. So I'm gonna set this down right here. I just leaned it up against the hive, so it's a little stable. Nothing's really touching anything. Now, I can kind of get to work a little bit. So since my goal, here, I'll show you what this looks like in here. See how deep down that goes? My goal is to replace this with more frames down there, but we'll see how far I get. A little better. Okay, smoker's going out. It's all perfect. So if everything went perfect, I'd look at this hive, this frame here, and see that it's mostly all food, and make my move to replace it. I can already see they have built a huge amount of honeycomb all the way down to the bottom of the hive, and so it's a pretty risky thing to move it, because if the queen's on it and that bottom piece breaks, I could accidentally kill her. So that's why all this is like boneheaded and bad, but I don't really know what else to do other than obviously buy the right parts and then do it, but I don't want to run deeps, I want to run mediums. So I'm converting this one. Let's come back after I got the smoker done.